Hello, I am Dr. Prashant Duraphe from Chronoprakriti Private Limited. Today I am going to discuss with a new branch of science called Chronobiology. Have you heard about Chronobiology? This word is not that common, but the relevance is very much to us. Let us understand the relevance to modern society. The Chronobiology, the word originates from the chronos, that is time, bios, that is life, and logy means science. So it's a science of timely behavior in our body or the biological systems in the perception of time. Still it is not clear. Have you heard about circadian rhythms? Are you aware about the circadian time? Circadian means whatever we are doing in one day, that is circadian. Many things that we are doing in a day, that is repetitive. That we go to sleep, we eat, we exercise, we work. So all these things are happening in a certain defined schedule. Same thing, there are many things happening in the nature as well. There is day and night, there are tide and ebbs, there is winter and summer. So all things are happening in the rhythmic fashion. So scientists are wondering whether these environmental factors are affecting to us and our body react to it only because of the environmental factors, or there is any endogenous system to it. So chronobiology is the science of endogenous biological clock mechanism. How it is started, when it is started? You know, the modern science traces back to at least 400 to 500 years in the Western world. Whatever we know today as the modern science, that is the experimental science, that we trace back to the history of the human being. Scientists busy in deciphering the natural laws. We know that how Newton was curious about the falling of apple on the floor. Then many people are wonder about how the earth is rotating around the sun. Similarly, biological scientists were wondering about how you have this having certain flowers in certain phases of the year, how animals go to hibernation, how birds migrate, how we have different mechanism that happens only at particular time. And recently in 2017, 3 scientists got Nobel Prize for understanding the molecular mechanism of circadian rhythms. And since then, the chronobiology is coming into the forefront or the mainstream of the scientific research. What they did, these 3 scientists, Michael Rosbash, understanding how our biological rhythms are set in the body, how they are maintained, all the rhythmic processes are maintained. And then they realize that there are clock genes in our cells, and those clock genes regulate and maintain the rhythm. Many scientists then worked on it, and then this discipline called chronobiology come into being. The founding fathers like Aschoff, Pittendrich in Germany, they experimented on flies, on different small animals, and also on humans to find out how this rhythmicity is maintained and how this rhythmicity is regulated. What are the factors regulating this rhythmicity? And this chronobiology is now having the relevance in the 24/7 society. We know the 4th dimension of time in the physical sciences very well, but in the biological sciences, the 4th dimension of time is not really well understood. With the advent of chronobiology, now we are in position to understand the biological processes in the dimension of time. So how it is relevant to us? Why we should bother about studying chronobiology? Is it only academic, or really it is having some impact on our day-to-day life? Let me tell you one example. If you are traveling to some other country and you are going through plane and your pilot is feeling sleepy, is not very much attentive, then you are at risk. The pilot's biological clock should be optimized for his profession. And now in the Western world, especially in Europe, they check their chronotype. They check their pattern of biological clock, how it works, and accordingly schedule their duties. So what is chronotype? Chronotype is the functional implementation of the biological clock, or the phenotypic expression of your internal clock mechanism. Chronos, again time, and the type of your biological clock that is defined by chronotype. So how the chronotype is defined? It is genetic, is it environmental, or it's combination of both? Now scientists know that the chronotype is genetic as well as it is defined by your daily choices. So chronotype is defined as a morning type, intermediate type, and the evening type. How your bodily mechanisms are tuned for the different time of day. Another example I can give you about the athletes. Now this entire sports industry is result oriented, and they want to get more and more performance. Even the milliseconds and microseconds do matter for the world records. And what they do now? They try to understand their chronotype and accordingly schedule their fitness pattern. So all this understanding of the biological clock is becoming more and more relevant in the modern society of 24/7 working style. Initially we used to sleep during night time and work during daytime because there was no industrial revolution, artificial light was not there. So we were not even aware about this mechanism, what will happen in our body at night time. But now there are so many stimulants, we are awake entirely for 24 hours. There are so many entertainment facilities that we hardly want to sleep. But our body is not meant like that. Body needs rest. But if you understand how the chronotype defines your sleep-wake pattern, then we are better placed. Not for even the extreme cases of athletes or pilots, but even to the day-to-day life, if we understand our chronotype and then schedule our mental and physical activities, we are better placed. Why? Because then if we are not putting extra strain to our body, and if you are putting extra strain to our body against your chronotype, then your immunity will go down. Post-COVID, we have experienced this, that we are locked down in the house and we are suffering now host of health problems. Why? Because our biological clock is getting affected because of our activity pattern, our sleep patterns. So understanding chronotype is very much essential in the modern society, and this is how the chronobiology is very much relevant for modern man. And here at Chronoprakriti, we are generating awareness about the functioning of biological clock, effect of unhealthy biological clock, and the basis of circadian disruption to all the lifestyle disorders. We are very much understanding sleep problems. All of us experience some or the other kind of insomnia. Why? We all know that we are exposed to screen, whether it is mobile, whether it is computer, whether it is TV. And how the artificial light is affecting our sleep? Because the blue light that is coming from the screen is directly sending signal to the brain that is daytime. It is not night time, and that's how our body is realizing that is daytime, and it is not secreting the sleep hormone called melatonin, and our sleep is disturbed. So now there are host of research how that to avoid it, and you must be aware about the blue light filters on the screen, on the specs, so that the blue light is filtered and coming to us, and the effect is minimized. But still our clock is affected because of our 24/7 activity. So knowing chronotype will help you to schedule your daily activities better. Even though we are service driven industry, India is becoming the country where we are generating the expert and the technical and non-technical workforce for all over the world. We are sitting in India and we are working for US, we are working for Australia, we are working for Singapore. But ultimately, the health of the Indian population, especially the youth, is getting affected because of this work schedule. You see in all the metros, people are working 24/7. At what cost? Just for money. Ultimately, we are earning money and spending for our healthcare. Even though we should not avoid it, we should be optimizing our work schedule, and we should know how to handle this and how to tune our biological clock for all these stressors, all these work pressures. And we at Chronoprakriti, we assess your biological clock, we assess your chronotype, and we tell you how to schedule your daily routine pattern, how to face your social compulsions, your professional compulsions. And for this, let us first understand how it works. What is the mechanism of biological clock? We are not aware about it. In Western world, now people are using this for their diagnosis. The personalized medicine is becoming more and more daily practice when we understand the mechanism of biological clock. Even though that is there in our system of Ayurveda, now we are getting experimental proof to it. The circadian schedule, that nothing but the Dinacharya mentioned in Ayurveda. But in the modern terms, we should get the experimental proof for whatever Dinacharya, whatever daily schedule we are recommending. Same thing for the seasonal schedule, or we can say infradian rhythm in the chronobiological perspective. At particular time, you get the particular blossoming of the flowers. You get the birds migrated to only particular duration. So that is because of their setting of the rhythms. So all these rhythms are getting disturbed because of our daily behavior of late night eating, late night entertainment, and all these things. So to handle it more effectively, I will suggest you to check your biological clock, to check your chronotype, and accordingly schedule your assignments. If you wish to check your biological clock, if you want to get the recommendation from us, please connect to us. We are here at Chronoprakriti Private Limited to help you to tune your biological clock and handle your work pressures in the better way. Check our social media handles and get tuned to our upcoming videos for more information about how biological clock works and how it is useful for your day-to-day activity. Thank you.